It's day 2 on the lockdown, and on Sport SA Daily Diary today we'll be speaking to adventure racer Clinton Mackintosh. So this afternoon on day 2 of Sport SA Daily Diary, we're joined by adventure racer Clinton Mackintosh. Clint, how are you today, mate?
It's only day 2 of lockdown, so I think it's okay for the moment. But yeah, ask me again in another 20 days. We'll see.
Now, Clinton is an adventure racer around the world. He's actually captained one of the South African teams in the Racing World Series. Clint, tell us a bit about what is adventure racing exactly?
So adventure racing is a non-motorized sport. So it consists of mainly mountain biking, paddling, and running are the 3 main disciplines. And then you race on an unmarked race course with a map and compass with 3 other people. So the team consists of 4 people. 3 guys, 1 woman, and you stay together for the entire duration of the race. And you race non-stop, day and night, right up to the finish. From the time the race starts to the end of the race, that's the race time. So if you sleep, if you don't sleep, it's entirely up to you. So a lot of strategy, a lot of exhaustion, and a lot of temperament being tested over that period. And that's why the people that you race with have to be quite critical to the success of the team, really.
Yes, I mean, as you say, that teamwork must be absolutely integral. Almost like being at home at the moment with your family as your team, trying to get through this current situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah, but the people that you surround yourself with in a team, that's hell of a critical to the success of the team. I think in these times at the moment with the lockdown, I think being in such a close confined space from a normality perspective, because our normality is very different to what we're going to be experiencing in the next 20 days. I think that's going to be testing everybody. It's going to be testing everybody's patience. It's going to be testing. It's not comfortable for anybody. We all know that. But unfortunately, these are the circumstances that we are in. And survival of the fittest, I think, will be prevalent in this case.
Absolutely. And Max, you're not actually only an adventure racer, you're also an avid mountain biker. You were going to tackle the Absa Cape Epic a few weeks ago before it got cancelled. What are your plans on keeping fit over the next 3 weeks? For somebody like you, I mean, you almost must be climbing the walls.
I tell you, it's only, as I mentioned earlier, it's only day 2 of lockdown. I think if you ask me that and we do this interview closer to the next 3 weeks, I think it may be very different. So right now I'm doing as much as I can. So a lot of plyometric training, a lot of running on a treadmill. I've even dusted out a spinning bike that I've had for almost 16, 17 years that I've never used. I'm not a great indoor trainer. I don't even have an indoor trainer for my bicycle or anything like that. So fortunately, I have a treadmill. I can run a bit on the treadmill. Otherwise, I'd be trying to master running on the spots. I think I'd be an expert at that. But the fact remains that we've got to make do with what we have. So doing as much exercises as we can do to try and keep as fit as we can do, because keeping fit is not only for aesthetically pleasing or whatever the case. It's actually for your immune system, for your health. So this pandemic that's around the world at the moment, if you can just try and remain fit in these next couple of weeks or even past that, this is maybe just a start for everybody to start being conscious of their health, whether it's eating, whether it's training, or whatever the case may be. But the first step to try and beating this pandemic is to try and remain healthy. And day 2 of this lockdown process, we've got a long ways to go. So, I can see it from social media perspective. Everybody is posting all their training and everything that they're doing. I just hope that by week 2 or even in the next 7 days, we are still doing the same thing that we're doing at the moment. It's quite novel. It's quite a, I don't want to say it's a new experience for everybody. So everybody's not necessarily excited, but it's like a new regiment that everybody's getting into a little bit. And it's all about consistency. If we can remain consistent throughout this 21 days, if it is 21 days, because it may not be. If not everybody's pulling their weight, we could be in here for a lot longer than 21 days, effectively. So everybody's got to do their bit.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty key message to everybody out there is we need to stay inside, and you're not actually looking after just yourself, you're looking after the rest of the nation. So I think that's quite a key point that you've made there. Max?
Yeah, you can't be selfish about this whole thing. That it's not necessarily affecting us that are as healthy as we can be from a large extent, but it's affecting people that are around us. And if we can set an example as best as we can from a training and trying to keep healthy and all that sort of aspect. I mean, if it influences 5 people, influences 2 people, as long as it's influencing somebody, I mean, we can do this. We can certainly we can cope with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And Max, maybe just in closing, maybe share one of your favorite sporting memories, whether it had been from the mountain biking space or the adventure racing space. I mean, there must be a number of them that you actually have. Is there one in particular that stands out head and shoulders above the rest?
Or I must be honest. I mean, I've been adventure racing for the last 18 years around the world. I've been lucky enough to be healthy enough to be racing around the world with fantastic teammates in Team Cyanosis. But I think and it's quite funny on my Facebook memories that came up today. In fact, it was a memory from 2 years ago when I was riding with Carlos Spencer or in the Cape Epic, and it's quite a funny thing. Gary Kirsten was our unofficial team captain in that, and we didn't know how he arranged it, but he arranged at the last water point that the whole of the Land Rover team waited for Carlos and I to catch up at that last water point, and we rode the last 20 kilometers into Val de Vie to the finish line of Cape Epic as a team. And I must be honest, a team aspect and a team sport for me is everything. I love that team aspect, and crossing that finish line as a complete unit, as a complete collective team, was something that was unreal. It was absolutely unreal. The emotion that everybody shared when we crossed that finish line, I think it's very hard to beat, and it's quite remarkable. And it's the same thing in adventure racing. Every time we cross a finish line, it doesn't matter where we are or where it is around the world. When we cross the finish line with 4 other people or 3 other people in an adventure racing team, I mean, it's remarkable. That feeling is unmatched. It really is. And that goes in business as well. I mean, if you're achieving something, you've closed a deal or you've achieved something from a business perspective, it's, that sense of achievement and it's the same as this. It's the same as when we get over this 21 days, that sense of achievement that we've beaten this pandemic. I mean, that's going to go a long way. This is something our kids are going to tell their kids and so forth and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that that moment that you all came through at Val de Vie. I think it was one of the few moments that Carlos actually had his shirt on. I think for the rest of the epic, yeah. He was walking around with his shirt off, much to the delight of most of the ladies at the Cape Epic that year.
That was quite an incredible Cape Epic. I mean, I remember crossing the finish line quite a number of times as we were going through the stages, and on the announcement system would be they would say Carlos Spencer's crossed the finish line. If any of the ladies would like to head through to the Absa Hospitality Lounge, Carlos will be walking around there without his shirt on in about 10-15 minutes. And I mean, that became a routine every day. So it was quite unreal. But even I speak to him still often now, and the memories and that achievement from Cape Epic was absolutely phenomenal. Riding with Land Rover for that event, and we were going to ride again this year with Land Rover. It's just it's a feeling, and these memories in these times, and especially in these trying times, because they are certainly trying times. Those are the memories that we hold on to. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Mackintosh, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great catching up and seeing that you are keeping fit. From a world-class adventure racer today, we will be joined by Comrades Marathon legend tomorrow in Bruce Fordyce. So make sure that you look out tomorrow.
You should ask Bruce Fordyce about his Swazi extreme adventure race a couple of years ago. He raced it as well. And I do remember Bruce shedding 1 or 2 tears during the race.
I'm sure he did. Mackintosh, great chatting to you. Thanks very much for your time.
All the best. Take care.
Take care, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye. Looking forward to Sport SA Daily Diaries tomorrow. We'll be chatting to 9 times Comrades Marathon winner, the legendary Bruce Fordyce.